Hello, everyone. Welcome to the RV Living Show. Today we'll be talking about how RVing will change your life. If RVing is in your future, stay tuned as we come back and we talk more about our favorite subject.
The RV life. We're surrounded with the message that it's a life you have to wait until retirement to have, and a life that only some can afford. And while it might be reality for those who want to believe that's true, we're on a mission to change that mindset and help people to stop wondering and start wandering to create a life they love.
Join us in conversations about how to design your RV life. We're Bryan Luann Street, and this is the RV Living Show.
Welcome to the RV Living Show. We're super excited you decided to join us today. All of those who are watching with us live, we just appreciate you showing up and hearing about the topic we're going to talk about today. And those who are going to be watching on the replay, we are excited that you're watching later and commenting and giving us the feedback on the topic of the day.
Yes, we are.
Speaking of the topic of the day, let's get started. Are you ready to discover how RVing will change your life? That's our topic.
It is. It's a great topic. I like that topic.
Yeah, when we were thinking about things that we could share with you all, this came up and we're like, yeah, it can totally change your life. Whether you want a part-time RV, full-time RV, or anywhere in between, we call weekend wanderers. We used to be one of those. So let's talk about how the RV life can change the life that you have right now.
Right.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about is that it can increase your vacation budget.
Yeah, it really can. I remember that after we bought our first RV and we started taking trips, we realized that it wasn't as expensive as we thought it was going to be. And you can also talk about the trip we took, the big trip we took, and how the costs broke down. But another thing about the cost is one other thing it does is that it allows you to take more vacations.
Yes. So, that being said, you can take your RV for just the weekend and go somewhere and have a getaway instead of waiting for that time off for the 4-day weekends or whatever. Of course, 4-day weekends make for better RVing weekends, right, or 3-day weekends, but it really does expand your vacation budget because you're going to be able to get away more. And because getting away is more local, you're not as likely to just jump in your car and go to a hotel for the weekend, but your RV is sitting there ready to go. You can have a lot more fun with it that way. And so speaking of increasing the budget, Bryan made reference to this trip that we took. So our very first extended trip that we took in our RV, we RV'd for, it was almost a year on the weekends. And then we made a plan and we went to Prince Edward Island. Well, being the money person that I am, I decided I wanted to crunch the numbers. And so I compared what it would be traveling in our RV, staying in campgrounds, eating some meals out, some meals in the RV, compared to traveling in a car, because of course an RV has less gas mileage normally.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're going to get better gas mileage in your car if you're driving. But between the cost of the hotels and the eating out, that 18-day trip that we took actually cost $1,000 less than if we had taken it a road trip and stayed in hotels and ate out more. So it really did increase our vacation budget for that trip.
It did. You also got to think about the cost of the RV is another cost you have to add to this. But after we bought our RV, I realized that we were not sitting around on the weekends anymore.
Right.
We were always thinking about how can we get out there? How can we use this RV?
Or we weren't getting out and spending money on the weekends, right, on things that, movies and popcorn and dinners out. We shifted our focus, and so it increased our vacation budget.
Well, it did. I think we actually probably saved money RVing over spending of previously entertaining ourselves. So yeah, I mean, it did work out good that way.
It did. So then the next one we want to talk about is that RVing will help you make incredible family memories. So we're going to talk about, we have three children, but two of them, one has an RV and the other's considering an RV. And so, Bryan, why don't you tell them about the one who has the RV, what they did?
Yeah, just back a couple of years back, one of our daughters, they were our son-in-law was able to work remote. They had opportunity to go on the road, so they took their family and they got an RV and they sold everything and they took off in his RV. And we thought that was so amazing because, the kids were a little bit younger at that time.
They were.
But actually getting out there and going places with these kids and learning history, seeing the country that they would never had seen other than being in an RV.
Yeah, like being able to watch buffalo in the Badlands from right. They actually sent us pictures of the kids sitting in the dashboard. They had a motorhome and watching the buffalo just walk by the RV. I mean, they're never going to forget that. So, but on the other hand, it doesn't have to be full time to make family memories. Our grandchildren think that coming over and doing a campfire and s'mores just builds so many memories with us, that just the concept of camping and campfire and being out of your normal routine, you can really bond and make a greater family connection. And people who have RV'd, or I should say camped for most of their life, they realize that value already. And so they want to make more family memories. So if you're on the fence about possibly getting an RV, if this is something that your family would enjoy. So now we're going to talk about our other daughter. And they also have, they have 4 children. The ones that we talked about before they have 5. And so the ones that, the younger daughter, they're actually considering a camper right now. They're actually talking about, can we afford to do this? What will it entail? Should we buy new? Should we buy used? So they're going through all that process right now. And we're watching how the concept of building family memories is one of the big, I want to say instigators, but I think you know what I mean. Into getting, doing it now before their kids are grown, and building those family memories with their RV and going places that you wouldn't normally go.
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking when you were talking about that is that after we got our RV, I remember most of the trips we took in that RV.
Yeah.
But before that RV, I mean, I can't think of really too many things on those weekends we were doing.
Sure.
There's kind of like it's like a foggy. I can't remember. I know we did things on weekends, but I can't remember them. They didn't make an impact on me as much as that RV life did.
And if you're on the fence thinking about buying an RV for even just part-time camping, really try to figure it out, because you can totally change your life with this building family memories, increasing your vacation budget. And while an RV actually costs money up front because you have to purchase it, but on the other hand, if you stop spending money on the weekends like we did and it turned that into our fun money and focused on our RV life, it made a huge difference.
Yeah, if we run the numbers, I'm sure we probably saved money for sure.
Okay, so we're going to be right back after this sponsored break. This episode of the RV Living Show is brought to you by the Complete RV Travel Planner, the only travel planner made specifically for the RV lifestyle. Get yours today at rvtravelplanner.com. Okay, so some good news. We've got the RV Travel Planner on sale right now. The 2021 Spiral Bounds and the PDFs, they're both on sale. But 2021, we're already 4 months into the year. And if you don't have your travel planner yet, you should get it, especially if you want a spiral bound before we run out. I think we have 29 left. So that's something that you should do today. Save the 20% and get that travel planner. Get out there and RV this year. Last year really stunk with COVID and everything. But, there's still time to make your plans for this year and get out and make some memories and do the things that you always wanted to do.
Absolutely.
So you can check that out at rvtravelplanner.com. It's already on sale. There's no coupon code. You just get in there and buy it and you're good to go. Okay, so our last thing that we're going to talk about is, you know, uh, RVing may change your life because it could spark you wanting to full time.
Yes, when we talk a lot about our first RV, but we bought that. We just thought it was going to be our vacation getaway,
Mm-hmm.
And it was. But I know that even though we had a desire to, perhaps travel and full time, in later in our
Right.
life, it really sparked us to want to do it sooner. I mean, it really made that much of an impact. We enjoyed it so much that you got your home with you, you're traveling. It just, what a difference that made.
So, when you think about, your RVing, and back then we had no idea that we could full time sooner. Like that wasn't a thing. And if you've watched any of our other shows or listen to our podcast or anything like that, you know that we are now full timers and we just love this life. But we had no idea that we could do it before we retired. Like that wasn't even on our radar. And when we enjoyed it so much, it sparked, and that's what this point is all about. It really sparked us to look deeper into the full-time RV life. Coming up in a few weeks, we're going to do our transition to full-time RV living boot camp again. So if you're not already on the wait list there, you can go get on that wait list, and we'll remind you that when we open up that 5-day boot camp, you can come in and just learn about full timing if that's something that you want to do. If not, it's great to have your RV for part-time and weekend wandering, exploring the country, going to places that you never thought you could, exploring the things that you didn't even think would be cool. I think
right.
That's what we've discovered most, is that our RV lets us explore not only the big things like Mount Rushmore or Yellowstone National Park, which are huge things to discover, but the small things that really make a difference. And whether you're full timer or not, RVing can change your life in that way, and finding all the cool hidden gems.
Absolutely. Like it's like taking you to places you only dreamed about, really.
Yes.
That's what it did for us, is that, a lot of places we've been now that we would never have been. If we hadn't had the RV, we wouldn't have went there.
No, we wouldn't have, because it wasn't on our radar to think or that we would want to spend money or time there.
Right.
But when you already have the RV and you want to go there, you can explore and see things that you never could.
Right. For a cost of a couple of nights of a campsite, you can go actually explore some area and find things there, maybe like hidden gems you didn't even know existed.
Right.
So it really opened up some great doors.
Or like that time, there was one time we went, I have this thing about the prettiest town in every state. It was an article inside Architectural Digest, and I made special note of all those cities, and one of them is Seaside, Florida. And when we got there, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then I discovered this is where the Truman Show was filmed. And then you think about the movie, and then you start looking around and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Like this was a place where they filmed it, and the architecture's so amazing. Mm-hmm. And you can see why it was called the prettiest town in that state. Now, of course, there's differences of opinion, right? This article is not inclusive or exclusive, all inclusive or all exclusive. It's somebody's opinion who wrote the article, but it's a great place to get started when you want to discover things.
Yeah, you've been making us go out of our way to find these little towns, and it's a couple of them we've really liked. I mean, what's that? Fairhope, Alabama. We love that one.
Yeah.
There's a couple of more in there.
And they're places that we never would have gone.
No.
So that it's kind of a cool bent on, you're traveling, that you can pick things like that and go see and experience them that you wouldn't have done otherwise.
Yeah, so just for, like I said, like for a price for a campground for a couple of nights, you go explore an area and just learn what's there.
And how many of us live in an area that we think we've seen everything, and you haven't. I mean, I know for a fact that where we're from in Asheville, North Carolina, that we have not done everything around there. And now when we go back, we try to discover things that like on vacation what you would do instead of, because when you're living there and working and day to day, you just kind of ride by the things that other people discover. So
yeah, I want to also mention, like we lived in Florida for most part of our life, but this last winter when we were in Florida, we in the kind of the what do you call it?
It's central north. It's central north.
Central area, and that's an area we've always drove through, but never really explored. And we got there and we said, "Wow, this is really nice."
Yeah, we were surprised. We actually had said that, wow, because we lived in South Florida. If we had known this part of Florida was this nice, we would have moved a long time ago. So it's a neat experience to explore and do those kinds of things. So, this has been all about how RVing will change your life. And we would love to chat with you about this topic. Maybe it's already changed your life for the better. Maybe you're thinking about doing, having a plan to do this. And we don't have our title for next week.
We don't.
So sorry about that.
My fault.
That is its fault. So I'll post it on our page and our Facebook group, but we would love to invite you back next week, same time, same place. Before we head into the chat here, just want to remind you that we go live every Wednesday afternoon, when we call it almost every Wednesday, because we do need a break now and again. So we just invite you to come back. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook. I don't know how many of you who watch us live now actually know that when we publish the blog post with this topic, this video is embedded in the blog post, so you can watch it there too. And you can also watch or listen to our podcast. We turn this show into a podcast. So if you like podcasts over watching us on video, you can certainly tune in that way. Our podcast is the RV Living Show, and you can get it on Stitcher, Google Play, Google Music, iTunes, all the major, actually almost every podcast platform. You just search for us, the RV Living Show, and you can do that there. Or you can go right to our website, thervlivingshow.com, and that is where our podcast lives. So
yeah, I also want to mention, if you go to the blog post, there's always the blog post always has like a little different bent to it.
It does.
So it's they may be information we thought about in there that we didn't think about here.
Yes, and vice versa.
Vice versa. Right.
So sometimes the blog post seems a little sparse, but then the video is full of things, and then vice versa. So be sure to watch and read them both, because you'll get extra tips. So. Okay, so we're going to jump into the comments right now and see who's here with us live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Oh, Belinda says back again. Gabrielle says hello. And Facebook user says hello. Sorry, if you didn't give us permission in StreamYard, you're coming from our group, Stop Wondering and Start RVing. And so we can't see your name. But hello.
Hello.
Kimberly says, howdy from Kimberly in New Mexico. Hi, Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. And Truman says, hello. Hello, hey, Truman. And Kimberly says, it has changed my life for the better. Plus, it just gets better and better. It really does, Kimberly, doesn't it? It really, really does. It's very cool to see the difference of what we used to experience for fun and what we can experience now. And I don't just mean because we're full-time. Now, I know that Kimberly's full-time too. And of course, we think everybody should go full-time. But if you can't, you can't. Or if that's not your thing, that's great. But RVing still has so much potential for you.
It does.
Okay, Linda says, good afternoon. Yay. And yes. And Pam says, hello. And Sue says, I hope you had a great time with your family last week. Yes, we did. And I'm telling you, well, I did, especially. My daughter took me because Mother's Day is coming up and we won't be here in May. So my daughter took me to a tea room called The Book and the Bee. And she took me to a foot soak and foot massage place called Awake. We're in Asheville, North Carolina right now. And it was amazing. We had such a good day together. It was such a blessing to be able to spend that time with just her and have those experiences, and it was very cool. And then we spent the week with the kids, our grandkids, because they were out of school.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Okay, Gabrielle had a question. Do you ever travel without the RV, like a cruise? So yes, I actually have. Well, I left Bryan in the RV and I flew to Aruba with a friend. So I've done that. We have contemplated a cruise, and we have flown and done well, it wasn't a vacation. It was more like a conference that we went to, flown and stayed in the hotel in a conference, and we did that. So last year we actually had set up, we were going to go to Hawaii, and then COVID happened and we didn't get a chance. We had our tickets, we had the place to stay, everything. So that's on our thing to do again. But yes, every once in a while we want to get out of the RV and do that. So Michelle says, always great insight. Truman says, thank you. Appreciate that. Michelle Libby says, how scary is it when your house sells and you drive away from it in your RV? Now you no longer have a house. So yeah, but I will tell you, and I don't know if Rosemary's on here or not this week. Rosemary thought the same thing, like how getting rid of all your stuff and that you no longer have that home anymore, that it's a freeing experience. Like it totally makes you feel like free. Like, how did you feel?
I felt free, but also I felt like since we loved RVing so much, I had no problem making the RV my home.
Yeah. Well, you figure your stuff's with you,
your stuff's
right?
with you.
So pretty soon you're not even thinking that you're going back somewhere. This is home. In fact, that's what we say when we're out. Let's go home. And the home is wherever the RV is parked.
Wherever we park it, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. Where do you stay in Asheville? My daughter just moved there this past week. We're at Rutledge RV Park off of Airport Road. So I don't know where she lived or lives, but yeah, we're in South Asheville. Linda says, we're so excited to start our weekend and vacation traveling. We'll be buying a TT in the next 2 months. Almost have the money saved to pay cash. Oh, that's amazing.
That is totally amazing.
Hold on, I got to turn off one of these things. That's the problem with the StreamYard. Sometimes I do that. Us also. Okay, Gabrielle says, great. Trying to go to Waves, North Carolina this summer. Waves? Is that a city, Truman? Okay, I'm going to have to look that up.
Have to look that one up.
And Kimberly says, ultimately, it's very liberating. Yes, it really is liberating. In fact, I got a message from Rosemary because she was worried. She was worried that, you know, are you going to miss this stuff? And now, it may not be true for everyone, and I don't want to say that everyone makes a clean break, but most of the time your stuff is holding you hostage, right? And you just, you know, if you just let go and make room for something else, then you will be able to have the life that you always dreamed about.
That's a good point. You're making room for something else.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, right. You're not losing it. You're not getting rid of it. You're making room for something else.
Making room for something new.
And Michelle says she works at the airport. Well, then there you go. She's right around the corner from us. So.
We hear the planes landing all the time.
And Sue says we're taking our maiden voyage next weekend. Very excited. You two have been such an inspiration. Thank you for all you share. Oh, thank you. We so appreciate that. We love doing these shows and chatting with you guys. It's just really cool to share with other people the fun and excitement and lifestyle, you know, all the nuances of the lifestyle that we've discovered, and we just want the same for you, no matter how you choose to do it. And that's the neat thing about RVing.
That's the neat thing for sure.
All right, guys. Well, I think our time is up, and we will see you next week with our secret topic, but I'll figure out what that is.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. That's right. All right. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the RV Living Show. We hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life you love.
Until next time, we encourage you to stop wondering